Welcome back to another segment of Quick Math with Mr. Evans. Today we'll be looking at two-digit times two-digit multiplication using the area model. I will say that your students had a fabulous time in class learning two-digit times two-digit multiplication because Mr. Evans was able to help them understand it a great deal better than they ever probably thought they would have ever learned. It was like, man, this wasn't that bad, Mr. Evans. And that's what I really like for kids to do after a lesson is to be able to say, you know what, math, this is doable. I can do this, Mr. Evans. So I'm going to show you this with the area model. And parents, please don't panic. I will make sure that I will take my time to help you understand this truly as much as they did too. So what I do is I like to start off with some pretty simple numbers that, establishes comfort with kids. So I'll do the same thing with you today, parents. And we'll do a multiplication of a two-digit by two-digit multiplication. And let's just do 23 times 37. I'm feeling like threes, two, sevens. Let's go for that. And like you've seen with area model that we've done in other videos, our goal with this is to create a rectangular shape in this case, because obviously 23, 37, these numbers are not nearly the same as far as value is concerned. So we are going to draw that same rectangular shape that we've drawn before when using the area model. But what I stress to your students at this time is that they pay attention to, the relativeness of size. We are looking at the numbers 23 and the numbers 37. And I asked them, when you look at this rectangular shape, where would you ideally put 23 and where would you ideally put 37? Well, your kids right away notice that this side is smaller, so they go, oh, we'll put 23 here and we'll put 37 there, Mr. Evans. And I go, good job, wonderful. But now it's time for us to break those numbers down by their value like we've always been doing. So we take a look at that 23 and we know that there is two tens there. So we initially want to start off by writing the number 20. And then we look there and we see that there's the digit 3. And below there, we're going to write the number 3. Now, your students are learning that, you know what? I need to make sure that this area for this 23 is relative to what it really is as far as size is concerned. This 3 is significantly smaller than 20, so it shouldn't take up just about as equal amount of space, but it should have less space. But so they can still write, we try not to go too skinny on that 3. So there we draw the 20 and the 3, and we're going to do the same thing up above for 37. So your students are breaking down the value of that 3, and they know that's a value of 30. So they write 30, and then they see there in that ones place there is a 7. So they respectively put the 7 further over this way. And kind of like we did with that 3, we want to make sure that it has a narrower space, but not so narrow that we won't be able to write in these boxes. We want to make sure that our math looks clean, looks crisp, is readable for other people so that, your work can be checked adequately. So we'll make this one not as narrow as the 3 was, just so we can make sure we write our math on the inside of the interior of this box. So now comes the most challenging part for most kids because, they're trying to figure out, where do I write these numbers, Mr. Evans? And I just tell them to follow where the 20 is. We drew this line across for the 20 to go here. So they immediately just say 20 times something and 20 times something. And all they have to do is look above to find out, what are they multiplying by 20? Well, here we're multiplying 20 by 30. And here we're multiplying 20 by 7. And respectively, we do the same exact thing down here when we get to 3. We're doing 3 times something and 3 times something. And to find out what that something is, you have to look above. And we see there's going to be 3 groups of 30, or 3 times 30. And then we look above here and we see that there's a 7. And so we're going to go 3 times 7, or as I always encourage your kids to say, 3 groups of 7. That's how I kind of like to make sure that language is, so that they understand, the value of numbers. And so now we have 4 separate multiplication problems. Now your students know to look at this first set of problems there and not be intimidated by that. They just see 2 and they see 3. They know how to multiply 2 times 3, and they know they're going to get 6. And then I always ask them this question: how many zeros were involved in that problem? And they always go, Mr. Evans, 2, because they can obviously see there are 2 zeros there. And they know to add those 2 zeros onto that product of 6 that they came up with when they multiplied 2 times 3. Then we slide over here and we see 20 times 7 or 20 groups of 7. But initially they're going to look at that and go 2 times 7, which they know is 14. And once again, I ask that question, how many zeros are involved in this problem? They go 1. So we write 1 0. So now we have 140. We look here, we have 3 groups of 30 or 3 times 30, and they see that 3 times 3 there. They know that that equals 9. Once again, I ask that question, how many zeros are involved with that problem? They go 1. And then, every kid is, drawing that 1 0 there. They know it. They're just fabulous at this. They become very, very predictive. And then, of course, now they have a multiplicative problem that they're used to seeing and answering with fluency, being 3 times 7. And they don't have any zeros to worry about, so they write 21 in there. And Mr. Evans wrote his 21 too close to that line, so I had to make an adjustment there. But we're going to know that that's 21. So what your students now do is now they are in a position where they have to figure out what their answer is and add all these numbers up. So over here off to the side, they'll just simply go 600, and you can always have them do a check mark. You kind of say, all right, I wrote that one down. 140, check mark. Okay, I wrote that one down. And 90, all right, check mark, I wrote that one down. And then, of course, 21. And they're just going to add all that up. And then what they love is that, 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 is so simple. So they go, Mr. Travis, this is easy. I can do this. And that's exactly what you want kids to be able to say, is that they can do this. We have 9 plus 4 there, which is 13, plus 2 more, which will give us 15. Carry the 1 there. We have 1 plus 6, that's 7, plus 1 more, we have 8. So now your kids are looking at that, and most of them were very surprised when we did these type of problems to see that the number was only 851. They were expecting like this enormous, gigantic number, because we were all of a sudden in 2-digit times 2-digit multiplication. But respectively to the area, when they see the value of everything as it spreads across the rectangle, they kind of see that, yeah, obviously, yeah, 851, that makes sense. So parents, there's 2-digit times 2-digit multiplication. I encourage you to create your own 2-digit times 2-digit multiplications at home with your students any given day of the week, and just keep them fresh with these skills. This has been another session of Quick Math with Mr. Evans, and I look to see you in my future videos as well. Have a great day.